Welcome to NFL Nexus. Today, we are diving into a really strange situation that's been cooking up in Cleveland. Now, on the surface, you might think, oh, it's just a story about a rookie quarterback trying to make the team. We see that every single year, right? But if you start to peel back the layers, you find that this one guy's personal fight for his career is all tangled up in this much bigger, league-wide identity crisis about what an honor in the NFL even means anymore. It's this bizarre crossroads where individual pressure meets, well, institutional decay. And trust me, it tells us a whole lot about where the league is actually headed.
So, here's the central question. How on earth does a super high-stakes quarterback competition in Cleveland have anything to do with the NFL's All-Star Game, a game that, let's be honest, is kind of failing? It seems totally random, doesn't it? One is a very specific team problem, the other is this big league-wide event. But as we're about to see, these two storylines are, believe it or not, completely intertwined. And where they crash into each other, it creates this weird paradox that actually pulls back the curtain on the shifting priorities and, frankly, the diluted prestige of the modern NFL. It's a puzzle for sure, and by the end of this, we're going to put all the pieces together.
All right, let's set the scene. We're in Cleveland. The Browns have just hired a new head coach, Todd Monken, and man, he is walking right into one of the toughest situations you can imagine for a first-year guy. He's got a wide-open, super high-stakes competition for the most important position on the field. And this isn't just about picking who can throw the best spiral. No. This is about navigating huge contracts, insane fan expectations, and really, the entire future direction of the franchise. The pressure on him is just immense from the second he walks in the door.
And just look at what Coach Monken has to work with here. I mean, this quarterback room is a fascinating mix of conflicting stories. You've got not one, but two rookies from the 2025 class, Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel, both hungry and trying to prove they even belong in the league. And then you have the massive elephant in the room, Deshaun Watson, the high-priced veteran with that enormous, fully guaranteed contract that just looms over every single decision the front office makes. This isn't just a depth chart. It's practically a recipe for season-long drama.
So, right out of the gate, at his very first press conference, Monken made one thing absolutely crystal clear. Nobody has been promised anything. He was asked straight up about the rookie, Shedeur Sanders, and if he was the guy, the presumed starter. Monken just shut that line of questioning down completely. He was emphatic that this competition for the starting job isn't just open, it is wide open. And you could tell this wasn't just typical coach speak. It was a very deliberate message to everyone, the players, the fans, the media, that everything is on the table and nobody's job is safe.
And this right here, this really lays out the core problem for Cleveland. You can see why it's such a headache. On one side, you have the rookie, Shedeur Sanders. In his 7 starts, he showed you things, real flashes of that playmaker ability that gets you excited. But the consistency just wasn't there yet, which, is pretty normal for a rookie. Then, on the other side, you have Deshaun Watson. The team gave up a historic haul to get him, but he hasn't played a truly meaningful down of football since way back in October of 2024. He's coming off a devastating torn Achilles, an injury that was so bad it actually required 2 separate surgeries to fix. It's a massive gamble no matter which way you go. Do you roll the dice on the unproven kid, or do you bet the farm on the high-priced veteran returning to form after a catastrophic injury?
So for Coach Monken, this decision is going to go way beyond just looking at the stat sheet or who has the strongest arm in training camp. He's not just going to be looking at completion percentages. Nah, he's searching for something much deeper, something that's way harder to measure on a spreadsheet. He's trying to find that intangible quality that separates the merely good quarterbacks from the truly great ones, especially when the game is on the line. He's looking for that it factor. It's a term we hear thrown around all the time in sports, but what does it really mean? It's that ability to command a huddle, to have 10 other grown men look you in the eyes and just believe, without a single doubt, that you're the one who's going to lead them to victory. Now, some of the beat reporters who cover the team think Monken's going to be really impressed with Sanders' cool, calm, point guard mentality. But at the end of the day, the final call is going to hinge on this hard-to-define quality of leadership and command. It's not just about talent, it's about presence. Who makes the entire team better? And make no mistake, this pressure isn't just coming from inside the locker room or from the fans booing in the stands. Coach Monken isn't making this call in a vacuum. He is getting a very clear, very direct order from the absolute top of the organization, from the team's owners, Dee and Jimmy Haslam. They've poured hundreds of millions of dollars into this team, and let's just say their patience is wearing pretty thin. There's no room for error, and there's definitely no time for a learning curve.
This quote really just says it all, doesn't it? It's blunt, it's honest, and it cuts right to the heart of the matter. Monken knows exactly why he was hired. It wasn't for some long-term, multi-year rebuild or a slow, patient project. The expectation from ownership is to win, and to win immediately. They want a return on their massive investment, and they want it now. The heat is on from day one to put a winning team on the field, not to build for 3 years from now.
So the implication here is pretty obvious. When you have a win-now mandate coming straight from the owners, you just don't have the luxury of starting a developmental project at the most important position in all of sports. You can't afford to lose games in September while a rookie is still figuring things out. This puts a guy like Shedeur Sanders in an incredibly difficult position. He's not just fighting for the starting job anymore, he might be fighting for a roster spot in 2026, period. Every single snap, every practice rep is a high-stakes audition for his entire future. And this is where our story takes a sharp, almost unbelievable turn. Right after we've established this intense, high-stakes battle for professional survival for this rookie quarterback, an announcement comes out from the league office that seems to just completely contradict everything we've just laid out about his shaky situation in Cleveland. It's a shocking plot twist that honestly makes you question everything.
So just stop and think for a second about where Shedeur Sanders is at this moment. He's a rookie. His brand new head coach has gone on record and given him zero guarantees about his future with the team. He is locked in this brutal competition with a high-priced veteran on a team that is demanding to win right now. His entire professional career is completely up in the air, basically hanging by a thread. He's just fighting to prove he even belongs. And yet, that same rookie quarterback was selected for the NFL's All-Star game. It's a complete paradox. It makes absolutely no sense. How can a player whose own team isn't even sure if he's good enough to be on the roster, let alone start for them, be named one of the best players in the entire conference at the same time? How do you make those two realities fit together?
Well, to solve this little riddle, we have to pull the camera way, way back and look at the event itself. The answer isn't hiding in the Browns facility in Cleveland. Nope, it lies in the sad, strange, and frankly kind of embarrassing state of the modern NFL Pro Bowl. The honor itself has been devalued so much that it's almost meaningless, and understanding why that happened is the key to figuring out how Shedeur Sanders ended up with that title.
And you can really see the decay laid out right here. I mean, the Pro Bowl used to be a legitimate, hard-hitting football game. It was an honor that players genuinely wanted. You'd see future Hall of Famers out there giving it their all. But now? Oh, it's devolved into this collection of sideshow gimmicks and a flag football game that barely even looks like the real sport. It's gone from a showcase of the league's absolute best to an event that feels more like a mandatory corporate retreat that nobody really wants to be at.
The problems here run so deep, the main event is now flag football, which is basically the league admitting, yeah, we can't get these guys to risk getting hurt for a meaningless game. The 2026 event was held in a venue that seriously looked more like a high school practice facility than a stadium worthy of so-called all-stars. But the biggest issue, by far, is the sheer number of actual stars who just refuse to play, citing some minor injury or personal reasons. This forces the league to dig deeper and deeper and deeper down the list of alternates, completely watering down the rosters to the point where it's just absurd. And this is it. This is how we solve our paradox. The standard for being a Pro Bowler has dropped so far that two quarterbacks from the same 5-win Browns team, one a journeyman vet and the other a rookie fighting for his job, both ended up in the game. It's not a reflection of them being elite players in the league. It's a reflection of how many better players ahead of them just said, nah, I'm good. The event has become a farce, an honor in name only.
And to be fair, this isn't just an NFL problem. Every single major sports league in North America is struggling with this. And they've tried everything. I mean, baseball tried to raise the stakes, remember that? This time it counts! Tying World Series home field advantage to the outcome, fans and purists hated it. The NBA and the NHL, they switched to that faster-paced 3-on-3 format, which was kind of new and exciting for a year, and then everyone got bored again. The NHL even tried suspending players for a regular season game if they skipped. Can you imagine? It was seen as way too harsh and just made the players hate it even more. Nothing has solved the core problem. The players just don't care enough to risk getting hurt.
In fact, it looks like the NHL is the first league to basically just wave the white flag and admit this isn't working. They're actively moving away from their traditional all-star game. Instead, they're focusing their energy on best-on-best international competitions, like the Olympics or a revived World Cup of Hockey. And why? Because those events have real, actual stakes. National pride is on the line, and that generates genuine passion from both the players and the fans. There's real meaning attached to them, which is something the All-Star game completely lost a long time ago.
So, this brings us all the way back to our central question.
When the game itself is a joke, when it's played in a warehouse, and when the best players don't even bother to show up, what is the title Pro Bowler actually worth anymore? Does it still carry the same weight for a player's legacy as it did 20 or 30 years ago? I think all the evidence points to a pretty clear no.
Adam Gretz from Yardbarker puts it perfectly. He says it no longer means anything as an honor, given that almost anybody can be invited to the game. That is the heart of the problem right there. The prestige, the very thing that made the honor special in the first place, was its exclusivity. It was the idea that you were one of a tiny select few. But now that the bar for getting in has been lowered so much by all the player dropouts, that exclusivity is just gone.
And this leads to a pretty simple, almost elegant solution that's been gaining a lot of steam with fans and analysts. Keep the honor, but just scrap the game. Go through the whole voting process, name the official All-Pro and Pro Bowl rosters to recognize guys for having a great season and make sure they get those contract bonuses they earned, and then just stop. Leave it at that. Celebrate the accomplishment, but get rid of the watered-down, low-effort event that follows. No gimmicks, no flag football, no empty warehouses.
And that brings everything full circle, leaving us with this final thought. For a player like Shedeur Sanders, who is caught in this really strange situation, what actually holds more weight? His coach's trust and a guaranteed spot on the 53-man roster, or an all-star title that he got because he was the fifth alternate? The answer seems painfully obvious, doesn't it? One is an increasingly meaningless title, the other is his entire career. So what do you think? What's the solution for the NFL's all-star problem? Should they just get rid of it, or is there a way to fix it? Let us know what you think down in the comments. And hey, if you found this explainer interesting and it gave you a new way to look at things, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to NFL Nexus for more deep dives into the stories that are shaping the league. And just a quick reminder, you can really help support the channel by checking out our coloring books. They're perfect for fans of all ages, your kids, your grandkids, even for yourself. You can find the link right down in the description or just scan the QR code you see on your screen right now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.